This week's Philosophy Friday is echoing a sentiment that I really wanted to share with you. Listening to Joe Rogan podcast, of course, many of you know, he interviewed Pavel from kettlebell fame and everything. And one of the things that really hit home for me was this idea that it's very beneficial to do a lot of your training, not trying to make numerical progression all the time. So not trying to add the reps or add weight and stuff, but in fact, take your workout and don't change anything for a good period of time. Like keep it the same. And of course you're always progressing and getting more comfortable with the technique and stuff, but this idea we have, especially here in the Western world, is the only way you're ever going to get bigger and stronger is if you're constantly making some sort of progress every week. All right, you're adding reps and weight and all these sorts of things. But as they were explaining in the podcast, Pavel was like, you can't do that. Because numerically it doesn't make sense. Like you start lifting beginner weights and you're like, well, if I add 5 pounds a week, I should be a champion power lifter by this time next year. This will be great, right? But of course that doesn't happen that way because for some reason, the body does not allow you to just make fast, constant progress. It will eventually start to hold you back. And one of the big reasons potentially for this is because we forget that it's much more than just muscles. Muscle tissue adapts very quickly, very readily, but ligaments and tendons and endocrinology and nervous system, and there's a lot of other things that are changing as well, and some of it adapts a heck of a lot slower. So if you're constantly always trying to progress your muscles as fast as possible, but other things are lagging behind, your body's going to hold you back, even if it's nowhere even near your genetic potential. So the idea behind letting yourself acclimatize to your workout by not changing it for a while has more value than we think. And I know it sounds a little weird. It's like, so you're telling me don't progress in order to progress? And that's exactly it. Because think of like mountain climbers when they're going up mountains, right? You can't climb Mount Everest in a single shot. You just simply can't. But I know if you tried, you'd get to base camp and you're like, it's tough, but I got this. I totally am making progress every single day. I can totally make this happen. But you can't reach the top of Mount Everest that way. And instead, mountaineers know you have to stop and purposely hold your ground and acclimatize to the altitude. And not only do they stop, but they'll even go back down the mountain several times during their journey to the top. And then when they have that window, boom, they'll hit the top. And we want to take the same approach to our strength training. We don't want to always be pushing our limits to as much as humanly possible, because the more you push that limit relentlessly, the more your body's actually going to hold yourself back. So the reason why I'm making this is not just to help you get stronger and stuff, but to also give you permission to take off that relentless need to say, I need to be making progress all the time. I need to be adding reps. And then after several weeks and you can't do it, you're like, what is wrong with me? What is going on? How do I get beyond this? And the answer is nothing's wrong. This is exactly what's supposed to happen. You've pushed against that limit so much that now you're having trouble going beyond it, and your body may even be holding you back. So hold yourself back on purpose. You're either going to do it on purpose or by accident. So hold yourself back just a little bit, let yourself acclimatize, and then when the opportunity is right and you're feeling more comfortable with the exercise and the workout, boom, you'll be able to make progress a heck of a lot better, because you don't get stronger by adding weight and reps. You add weight and reps because you get stronger. You do it as a consequence of progression, not as the reason for progression. So philosophical switches for you. Let me know what your thoughts are on this. If I'm totally off my rocker or if you've experienced the same thing down below, love to hear from you. Be fit, live free.